Good hip health is essential in helping to prevent falls. Working on our squat is one way that we can help mobilize the hips and keep them healthy. This practice is fully seated and accessible to most who are able to sit upright in a chair. You will need a chair that's easy to move in, and optionally 2 yoga blocks and or a footstool. Let's get started. Often, people share that they get a sense of emotional release when they are working on opening the hips. Be aware that this may or may not happen for you during this practice today, and that's okay. Our focus today is to be mindful of our emotions, whatever they may be, as we move through today's practice. Start by taking a comfortable seat. Gently close your eyes if it is safe and comfortable for you to do so. Alternatively, you can gently stare ahead with eyes relaxed. Contrary to popular belief, we do not choose our emotions. They bubble forth from our hearts, our minds, sometimes gently bubbling to the surface, and sometimes popping into our conscious thoughts seemingly out of nowhere. Refrain from judging your emotions as good or bad, right or wrong. Instead, have curiosity. Try naming the emotion or emotions the best you can. Are you feeling the emotion in a specific place in your body? Are there memories attached to the emotion that are coming up for you? What about the situation might be calling forth certain emotions? By being curious, we provide space for exploring and tending to our emotional landscape. It provides an opportunity to connect with parts of ourselves that often get ignored but have important information to share with us. As we move into this practice, give yourself permission to fully feel whatever is bubbling to the surface in this moment. Welcome to this adapted yoga practice where we will be working on opening our hips so that we can get into a lovely squat position. Now, grab some blocks if you need them, and you might want something shorter than a chair to squat onto. I have a footstool here. You can use whatever works best for you. I'll show a lot of different variations today. First, we're going to be starting by just getting warmed up and mobilizing. All right, we'll start with our sun salutation B. This is the salutation where we're bringing knee to chest. So we'll slowly roll through it so that we can really ease into the practice today. All right, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, reach. And then exhale, forward fold. And hang out in this forward fold. So option one is to just kind of dangle between your legs. So you can support on blocks, cross arms. I find this one the easiest to flow into with my chair. You can stay there. Option two, put your blocks out in front of you. Place heels on blocks and then walk hands down. Okay. This one stretches kind of the more traditional forward fold areas. And you can also dangle your arms. I find it a little bit harder to flow in and out of this one in a chair practice. But it's really up to you. All right. Inhale, we're going to come back up. Exhale, cactus arms. Okay, inhale, we're bringing one leg up towards the chest. Exhaling. Maybe giving that ankle some rotation, pointing and flexing the toes. And we're just going to switch right over to the other side. So if you want to inhale, expand, exhale, come into that other side. Give the ankle a little bit of love here. Claw out the feet, maybe scrunch up the toes. Every time I think of scrunching toes, I think of the first Die Hard movie and how he was told to like scrunch his toes on carpet or a rug after getting off the plane for jet lag. And that will never leave me. All right. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, reach. And relax. Okay, so that was one side of our sun salutation. Let's do the other side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, reach. Exhale, your version of forward fold. I'm coming between the legs here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, opposite leg first. Okay. Scrunch the toes. Twist the ankle or turn the ankle. You know what I mean? Inhale, other leg, exhale it in. So long as you keep breathing. You know I don't like hard and fast rules for anything. In general, when we expand in yoga, we inhale, exhale as we come in. Do what works for you. In the grand scheme of things, not a big deal. All right. Arms overhead, cactus, reach, and come back down. Excellent. We're going to mix that up a little bit. Instead of bringing knees to chest, we're going to do a little bit of a seated pyramid pose, and I'll walk you through that slowly. So inhale, cactus arms. So this part's the same. Reach, exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Okay. Inhale, as you come up, one foot is going to stay nice and bent. You might want to narrow your stance a little bit here. So I've brought my leg in. I have my blocks. And I'm going to extend my opposite leg forward. Now, I don't want you hyperextending. It's a little micro mini bend in the knee. And this might be enough for you. So you may stay up here, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with this position. I have particularly tight hamstrings, so I'm feeling a stretch here. I can go a little bit further. You may be able to lay yourself flat along your leg. Lucky you. Whatever works for you, it's fine. You can tell I've been teased about my tight hamstrings most of my life. Just breathe into it. Remember to flex those toes upwards, micro bend at the knee. All right, I'm gonna have you come up, and then we're just switching sides. So bend your other leg, and then we're extending the other leg out, keeping a micro bend at the knees, toes are flexed. And then again, you're gonna stay up here. Can you come down a little bit? You know you've gone too far if you can't breathe through it. If you feel your breath tightening up and constricting, you're pushing too hard. This is a practice of letting go. So let go of that need, that desire to push into something. Exhale out of it. Inhale, find some more space, freedom of movement, and then exhale back into it, more gently this time. All right, you're gonna come back up slightly, position your feet so we can forward fold, halfway lift, coming back down, inhaling arms overhead, cactus, reach, and back down. Okay, we're gonna do that sequence one more time, starting with the other side. Okay, so inhale, arms overhead, exhale, fold, halfway lift, lower, and as I come back up, okay, opposite leg, it's gonna be bent, straighten, ease into it. We're gonna take 3 full breaths here. Excellent. Come back out, give yourself a little bit of space. If you need to help your leg in, help your leg in. There's nothing wrong with that. Nice firm planting through the floor, and then we're coming to the other side. It's like you're pushing your leg out, flexing those toes, keeping that small bend in the knee, no hyperextension here. And then lift and lower. Again, we'll take 3 deep breaths here. Good. Okay. I'm going to come back up by lowering down. Lift halfway. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach. Cactus arms. Reach. Okay, next we're going to be doing some seated butterfly. If you like being in your chair, you can do this in your chair, or you can sit on the floor, whatever works best for you. So this also is called cobbler's pose. whatever you want to refer to it as. The benefit of doing this pose on the floor is that there's a lot more room if you need your heels, your feet to be further away from you, because this is a intense groin stretch here. Obviously not too intense, right? Don't push past your edge. The other lovely thing about doing this on the floor is that you can use your blocks to support under your thighs. But today I'm showing the chair version because it can be difficult to get up and down from the chair to the floor. And once I'm on the floor, I don't want to get up from the floor. So no floor time yet. The very first yoga video I ever watched was by Rainbow Mars, which is like the most yoga name ever. But she would always do things like massage her feet. She did kiss her toes from time to time, which different opinions on that. But all that to say, take a moment to rub your feet. If you need a little bit of a massage while we do this stretch. Now, stay here if you like this. If this is not your thing, this is too much for you, I'm going to show an alternative. So take a block. One foot rests on the block and do a half version. Now, it's not a half version as in half is good. It's just one leg at a time, okay? And if you want a little bit more intensity, as you fold forward, you'll feel more of a stretch. Okay? Then when that side is good, go to the other side. And if you need the floor to come up to you even more, then bring the floor up to you even more. Okay? So these are all options for all the different bodies that are joining this practice today. We're going to take 3 more deep breaths, enjoying the seated butterfly. All right, come out of this slowly. Next, we'll do seated pigeon or seated figure 4. This can also be done on the floor if you like. Okay. One foot flat on the ground. You're going to bring opposite ankle to knee. Okay. This may be enough for you. You're going to feel the stretch along your outer thigh here on the bent leg that's on top. Okay. And if that's enough for you, that's enough for you. Just hang out right there. If you're looking for a little bit more, you haven't quite hit your edge yet, you're not really feeling a stretch, inhale. Again, we're going to expand upwards and then start to walk our hands forward until we feel that stretch. All right, and then we're going to come up. We're going to switch sides. So other leg firmly planted on the floor. And then We're going to bring opposite leg up and over. Make any adjustments that you need. One thing we're kind of working towards is this front shin here to be parallel to the mat. Now, obviously, if that's too much of a stretch, the closer your heel is in, the less of a stretch you'll feel. So kind of find where your body needs to be. Okay. So again, we're going to inhale, find space, find length, come up, and then exhale, lower down. Again, we're feeling that stretch in this outer thigh here. Now, I also feel it a little bit up into my lats. That's fine. As long as it's a nice, tolerable stretch, not excruciating pain of any kind. Couple more breaths here. Okay. Slowly come up. All right. Our next pose will be a seated happy baby. And this is our last move before we get into the encore move, the pinnacle move, the pièce de résistance, which will be the squat. So, seated happy baby. We're going to bring our legs wider than hip distance apart, and we're folding forward and kind of wrapping our arms around our legs to give ourselves a little hug. So this kind of is a little bit like turtle pose and happy baby kind of merged into a seated adapted version. So again, we're going to inhale, find length, exhale, fold forward, and then grab the ankles and rock side to side. Now, if this is too intense, bring your arms on the outside of the ankles. Okay, that will make it less intense. If that's too much still, hands up, right? Just walk your hands up to where you can tolerate. Okay, you can even use your forearms for support. Find a position that you can hold that feels good to you. This should feel nice, good, luxurious. So get into that headspace. Okay. And I really love the stretch that this gives. Bringing my arms around, hooking them underneath my thighs, letting my head fall forward. Now, anytime we've had our head forward, we're kind of in an inverted pose, hanging upside down, come out of it nice and slow. We don't want our blood pressure dropping and getting dizzy as we come up. So walk your hands out in front of you. Slowly start to push up. Use the blocks if you need them. Come onto your thighs. And then come all the way up at your own pace. Okay. So all of these moves, what were they for? For the squat. Okay. Squatting is fabulous for our hip health, so let's try and maintain that squat. All right. Also, I think in a video I did talk about how useful it is in not having your bum actually touch the toilet seat at a tube station. So extra bonus benefits to this. Okay. Now, in a chair, at kind of the standard height of a chair, you're going to come into the squat very similarly to the happy baby. So you're just going to come forward, elbows on your knees or on the tops of your thighs, and pressing your hands together. Okay. And that might be enough for you. So if this is your perfect spot, chill here while I show you some other variations. I have a footstool here. You can see it's slightly lower than my chair. Hips are in a bit of a lower position. Knees are up. We're going to do the same thing, right? Lift up and out. Elbows are going to come. And you're creating a force. So you're pushing out with your elbows, pushing in with your knees, right? So this is absolutely an option here. Getting a little bit deeper into that squat. Right, so if this is your perfect spot, your perfect squat spot, stay here. If you want to really get into the squat, I'll show you what you can do with your blocks. 2 blocks. We're gonna come down, same thing, sitting on those blocks, right, coming up, coming down, and trying to keep that nice straight back, right? Keeping those feet flat on the floor, elbows pressing, knees pressing in, okay? Another squat option. Let's say you've worked your way down to the floor, but you're having a little bit of trouble with balance. That's where the wall comes in handy. Find yourself a nice sturdy wall, walk yourself down into a squat position. Bum still hovers, but it's another way to work the position. Okay? So if you're still in your chair squat, or if you've worked through all of that with me, you've done plenty of squatting for today. And now it's time, since we're so close to the floor, to take some Shavasana. All right. So pick any remaining dog hair that's made its way onto your mat. Kick it off. Grab a sip of water if you need it. Now, we've spent a lot of time in hip flexion. It's where the thigh is closer to the body. So they're all squeezed in together. So you can either take a Shavasana lying flat, an easy pose on your chair, or if you want to stretch out the front of your body, let's do a supported bridge. I'm just going to lie back. I'm going to lift my hips and place a block on my low back. Now this is perfect for me. If it feels good to stretch out further, you can. If the block is a little aggressive, roll up a towel. I'm going to bend my knees back for the Shavasana because having my legs straight is a little too aggressive for me today. So we're going to take 2 minutes here in a nice resting pose to end our practice. We are coming to the close of our practice today. Take another moment to close your eyes or stare softly ahead. Consider what emotions or feelings came up for you during today's practice. Did you notice specific areas that triggered an emotional response when tended to? Were you able to be curious about that emotion? Or did it come on so strong and so big that you needed some space? How might you find time throughout your day to stop and gather information from your emotions? I will leave you here to take a moment of silence to tend to your needs. You will hear the chime as the practice ends. Gently open your eyes. Take a moment to come back into this shared space. Thank you for taking a moment to tend to your hips and emotions today. I look forward to seeing you again soon.